What I will DJ on the mic, you already know what the spread is. We're going in full Magnamon Tribal, baby. It is time, and we finally got the new Magnamon, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Textures absolutely slap. So in this video, I'm gonna slap you with an absolute banger of a deck list. So if this is a video for you, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell because I do videos on the reg. Okay, let's go through the ratios and all the sauce. We're going to start off with the eggs. We are running 5. Yes, guys, a bit of a change. 5 is actually not my usual. But let's go with the standard because, unfortunately, our Pokemon got freaking restricted to 1. So we have to go crawl back to the Wanyamon egg, which if you have a blue Tamer out, when attacking, you're able to draw 1. Absolutely great for your draw engine because it enables you to effectively combo up quite efficiently. So that's why you do want to be running 4 of this. And then lastly, we do run the 1 of the Pokemon because it's just absolutely cracked. Jamming like the Bob Marley, man takes no days off. But unfortunately, he's not arrived with his squad, which would be the nice freaking 4 of if it was not restricted to 1. So that concludes there for the eggs. 5. Definitely different here. So going on to the rookies, 14, because obviously we know that Vmon, Magnamon kind of play style, it is very aggro based and you need a lot of rookies in order for you to actually do what you need to be doing. So your primary search is going to be your Vmon BT12, which is obviously going to help you get your free traded Digimon. So this does get you your as well because it's not locked towards a color, which is very handy right there. And also we can get our Davis. Awesome. Inheritable does not matter in this build, so I'm not going to bother reading out. Then we go in with the promo Vmon, which is a solid 3, and this helps you enable you to cheat into your Magnamons for a reduced cost. So effectively it will be costing 2 instead of 3. And then as well, when attacking, which is not once per turn, you are able to draw a card if you have 2 or more colors. So once again, our Magnamons are more than 2 colors, so that is definitely be easy for us to achieve that. Going on to the staple 2 ofs is going to be your BT8 Vmon. This, I cannot wait till we go into BT16. I can absolutely ditch that card because it does enable us to dig 4, able to get a dual colored card as long as it's got blue in its color, which is helpful for us to get on to our, I'll say, Magnamon X. But realistically, if I could go with just searching by free trait, it would work better because we can enable us to basically search out our entire deck, so kind of wiggling in and out between this card. But you know, it is a solid 2 of as of now. Then, because we do have the Pokemon, which is going to be restricted to 1, we still kind of have to go in with the jamming Vmon back at 2, which is obviously going to be helping us to carry out that aggression, especially if we do get out first turn. It's going to be great. And also we do have Magnamons that can effectively help us float into our Vmon, so having this out adds some amazing pressure. Then we go with the at 3. So Ukemon works really well in this particular build because what Ukemon is a free type, and we can actually effectively search this out. It enables us to get that gas, it enables us to be very aggro based, which is good because this deck, it can't necessarily go the distance. So you'll find a point where you will kind of get into a match and you just struggle to close out because that's when the opponent kind of is established board, it's doing what it's doing, it might be bouncing your Digimon and so forth. It's really hard to kind of close out games, so relatively we have to go faster than them, and Ukemon is just such a facilitator. We've seen it with Red Hybrid, it works well with the Vmon armor line there too, so this is why we do run that at a solid 3. So that concludes for the rookies, 14 in total. So going on to the champions, obviously it's going to be that tribal goodness, and we're running 11. So we gotta mention out this boy right now, and it's going to be your starter deck 17 Magnamon. So just spend a bit of time on this one because this one's pretty decent in what it does. You do want to be running at a solid 4. Standard kind of similarities in regards to Magnamon, either on top of Vmon for the cost of 3, Obviously, if you don't Evo on top of a Vmon, it just costs you 4, which is just not really the worth. But the good thing about this is that the fact that it's got a security effect, which enables us to have some sort of spice in our security, which Trick Form security does digivolve 1, which is great, and that just happens before anything else is kind of going on. And then one Digimon on one Digimon, and then at the end of battle, so the battle still commences, so you've digivolved that Digimon who's swinging into it, the battle still commences with this card, which is great. And then you're able to then digivolve onto a one of your Digimon without paying the cost, which is pretty sick right there. So the digivolve one Digimon isn't necessarily to the opponent's Digimon, so you can digivolve one of your Digimon. So if you have a Magnamon out, that's kind of doing its service. You can digivolve that, obviously go into your Vmon, and then effectively go Evo into this for free, which effectively keeps it on the field, because the thing with this is that it does not actually, this doesn't return to your hand. Obviously the battle happens, and if you essentially don't digivolve one of your Digimon, or you don't have a Digimon that can effectively accommodate this actual condition, it will just go to trash, being the thing. So make sure that if the opponent just naturally takes it to hand, say no, that does not go to hand, it does go to trash if you've not met the condition of digivolving on top of one of your Digimon. And it does have to be a actual rookie. You can't just digivolve on top of a level 6. That's not how that works. So it is also a blocker, and it has got an armor purge. And then when digivolving, trash the top digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon for each of the Digimon's colours, which is pretty sick. So we've got obviously a lot of dual colour Digimon in this format, so naturally you are going to be stripping 2 sources. Then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution sources to the hand. So once again, it's a really powerful card what this can do, especially triggered out from security. You can effectively Evo into this Magnamon right there if you do have essentially a Vmon that's just there waiting for it to just kind of get into Magnamon. It's just overall a solid card. On top of that, it is black and blue, so it means that your Heaven's Judgment is going to be casting some serious minus 6,000 DP on a mofo, which is always the worth. Then we continue with this with a cheeky classic BT8 Magnamon. This is just obviously a staple. Our aim is to essentially fill our trash with armors, because obviously we are Magnamon tribal right now. Effectively we want to be just getting that boost by 2,000 DP per armor in trash. Also can unsuspend with digivolve in there too, so it's just a really good card not to run at 4. Then lastly we do run the BT15 Magnamon here, which is just absolutely solid. I still would like to run, you know, a 4th copy of that bad boy, but I feel like it might be a little bit too clunky, but I do need to do a bit more experimenting. The reason why I do like this, because effectively it's not got armor purge, but it has a different form of like floating effect, which will enable you to either play a Vmon from the source or play a Vmon from hand, which once again kind of increases that consistency if you just want to kind of get that additional search, or just basically get a nice little bit of a replay of the Digimon of the Vmon that you have underneath. It is a very strong card. It does get around a lot of things like DP minusing. At least if I'm DP minus, I can effectively still gain a draw, which is good. It actually does draw 1, and then depending on what I want to do play wise, either get a Vmon that can effectively search me out some more cards, maybe a Tamer there too, or effectively bring out the promo V, which could help me reduce the cost of either into a Magnamon to play a bit more defensively whilst choking. So people undervalue this. I do like this card, and I initially undervalued it, but this does help you just kind of keep the bodies out in the field, which actually can be very useful in this format. So that concludes there for the champions. Solid 11. Going on to the ultimates. Ultimates is just basically going to be our like tech options here, and that's going to be simply going in with the Zunamon Ace at 2. I do like the Zunamon Ace just because it's just not conditional in terms of what it can remove. As long as it has no sources, it's just bouncing a Digimon back to hand, which can be
can be handy. If someone's essentially thrown out a Defex, I can throw out this to then remove said Defex. Granted, they could just Defex me again, but it is a good card to kind of have out, just to get rid of like any potential aces. It's basically cost you 1 in order for you to throw this down if they do have an ace out there too, because effectively you bounce that back, overflow 3, absolutely winning, and then enables you to essentially kind of cheat into your Magnamon if you want to go into that. Obviously, if you do go into Magnamon X, should I say, it won't be able to redirect, being the thing. It'll be able to recover, but it won't be able to redirect, because it does need an armor Digimon in the source, which it will not have if you just hard slam this down. But regardless, it is a very powerful card and a solid kind of tech option right there. There's a lot of aces that you could run. It really just depends on the matchup. Obviously, we do have Angel Woman Ace, we have Magnamon Ace, we have Weregarurumon Ace, Ace every day, all day. So let's go on to now the Megas. So Megas is going to be a solid 5. Going to be our main boss monster here, Magnamon X. Magnamon X is great. It is good what it does, but I feel like, you know, until we go to BT16, that's where we are going to find our nice boss monster that's going to be putting out work. It's going to be putting out work. But for the meantime, this is solid for that, stopping the early aggro. But there is a lot of decks that can kind of pinpoint sources in terms of stripping, and in order to get its redirects, it does have to have an armor in trait in the source. So simply just remove the Magnamon, and then this can't redirect, which is unfortunate. But regardless, it is a solid boss monster. The fact that you are able to effectively, if it is going to be deleted, you can essentially recover 1, which is handy. So yeah, you do want to be running this at a solid 4. You may be some argument that you could knock it down to possibly 3. Then we do run the clutch Defex. I still think that Defex is just, once again, a solid option just to disrupt big wide boards. And the Digivolve is powerful. The just kind of wiping level 4 to 3s is just once again huge. Just gives you that bit of control, and it always comes in hand. Like, once again, I've got that look of the one-off. If I've got a one-off, it's always in hand. If I run freaking multiples, I barely get it in hand at all, which is a little bit annoying. But that concludes there for the Megas. So going on for the options, we do run a pretty freaking option-heavy package. So we will get them out for you. We go in with the 3 mental trainings. Very powerful card here in this particular deck. It can absolutely facilitate to some awesome aggro, which is sick. Able to search out our Tamers, because we reveal top 2, so we're not digging too hard. That we could obviously kind of bottom deck our sources to kind of pop off next turn. So if we want to kind of get, like, I don't know, we might reveal freaking Ukamon and a Davis. At least we can still get one instead of kind of doing like Blue Memory Boost, which reveals 4. Effectively, I could absolutely bottom deck pretty much a lot of my secret source, unfortunately. So mental training does help, and just reducing the cost by 2 is huge. Going into essentially Magnamon X for reduced cost is actually pretty massive and can give you quite a deadly game state quite early on. So we do run that at solid 3. So this, you might have seen this also in my previous deck profile, but we do run armor texture, and I still value armor texture, and it works actually relatively well with the new Magnamon, because obviously if they trip into this, we can trigger the security effect, which enables us to play a level 3 Digimon card with 3 in its traits. So that is not just locked to Vmon, that can actually bring our Ukamon out there as well, which is pretty handy. Adds us a lot of pressure in combination with our Tamer setup there too. But having another Vmon out from the grave, obviously get that on play and all the good stuff, enables us to, if they do obviously swing again and they trip into a Magnamon from the starter deck 17, effectively what that can do is I can then obviously have a target to digivolve into that, and then obviously do the when digivolving threat, which is very handy also. Top of that, once again, a great aggressor card. We can basically armor change and and build up our trash, still going with the aggro and going to another Magnamon, which is pretty sick right there. We do get the Magnamon when digivolving effect there as well. So also with the new one, we're just controlling the board, bouncing Digimon back, it's a very power play card here, and obviously depending on which Vmon you have got, yeah, it can really really help out what you do in terms of aggro and game plan. Then we do run the staple of the Fire Rocket. So Fire Rocket's actually pretty decent in this format because we do have a lot of Digimon that do have blocker as an inheritable or gains blocker, so this can actually come pretty clutch. Obviously it's our main aggro card there too, so we're going with that damage, which is what we want to be doing. Unfortunately, we do lose the Bukamon egg, so you know the likelihood of us actually kind of getting killed is a lot higher. But that's the reason why we do run the Vmon jamming version, just to kind of once again make sure that once we swing in, we actually commit into the checks and hopefully, you know, not bump into an option we're absolutely laughing. Then we go in with the last two orbs, which is going to be our solid Awakening the Golden Knight, because we do run a full Magnamon package. Why not have this card in? The thing that's actually quite useful is the not being able to minus DP. We've got to respect the meta. Yellow Vaccine is a freaking deck. And Andrew Woman, minus DPs for days. You know, Magnamon Ace, Magna Angemon Ace. Also a minus DP machine. There's a lot of minus DP in that deck, so this actually just kind of helps out, just kind of negate that. Shine Greymon, that's still a deck, still pretty prevalent. You know, there's still decks in the format that can still minus DP quite hard, and that's one of the things that crippled this deck so much, is just the minus DPing, because it gets around the armor purge. Also, its security effect is handy in order for us to effectively gain a Magnamon in name from trash, and then able to obviously get that to hand, and then we're able to get this to hand there as well. So once again, really solid stuff. Top of this as well, it can actually act as effectively another armor texture there too, so definitely watch out for that, because you can obviously evo for the reduced cost on top of an armor Digimon, so you can either stack 2 Magnamon or a Magnamon on top of a Magnamon X and so forth for the reduced cost. So realistically, it will cost you the same to go into a level 4 Magnamon, but it will actually reduce it by 1 going into your Magnamon X. Lastly, we're going with the Heaven's Judgment, because this card in this deck is absolutely busted. Now that we have more colors to our arsenal, yep, this can really just wipe out a board. Just absolutely wipe out a board. There could be argument that you could actually knock this to maybe knock this down to 1, boost it up to 3, but I don't want to be too hard on the kind of the kill options. But like I say, we are trying to go fast. The faster we can go, the better. But there is definitely an argument that you can do that. Really just depend on how the meta is going to shape up. We are in uncharted waters, for real. So that concludes for the options. Going on to the Tamers. So Tamers, a little bit. This is probably where people are going to be thinking, maybe change the ratios, and which is completely up to you in terms of what you want to do with that. But we are going to go with the free Promo Davis. So the reason why we've knocked this down to 3 is because we've actually incorporated another Tamer, which once again facilitates to the deck. Because we can search this out relatively effectively, I feel like we just need either 1 or 2 out of these out, and we're pretty much cooking, which is absolutely fantastic. And for us to effectively get the full worth of this, you know, playing this down for free, play out of Vmon, get an additional search on, it's all happy days, and we can really add some awesome consistency. The combo that I like to do is essentially throw this down and then use the BT13 or BT12, maybe BT12 Vmon, which obviously enables us to search either free type Digimon or a Davis. If we can get our Ukamon out of that search, banging, you know, we're absolutely laughing. Or we obviously get one of our armors, or one of our Magnamons, which really just helps out in terms of comboing up. That's what we want to be doing, comboing up. The second effect doesn't necessarily matter in this particular build, so don't even worry about that. But the starter main is very helpful in order for us to obviously gain that memory, because our whole deck is all free. Well, minus obviously the Aces and the Magnamon X and the Def X, but majority is pretty much free type, so getting that memory is definitely going to be nice. And then we conclude it off with the Lu. The Lu really just adds some amazing tempo to this deck, just because the on play able to then just basically push out whatever's in raising, as long as it's level 3 or higher, which makes sense. You don't want to push out an egg out and be like, yo, how do you like it scrambled, my guy? So yeah, but able to push out a 3 or higher, and then you're able to suspend loot and gain a memory, which is absolute gas. That and Ukamon, freaking nuts. Effectively, you've just pushed out a Digimon, maybe for a reduced cost of 1, or you're basically just netting memory at that point. But having just that, even just loot out, every time we push out, we gain a memory. If we have these 2 out, it's going to be absolute worth in order for us to pop off. Obviously, there is an argument that you could possibly run 4 Davis, which is absolutely fine. If you can make the room, make the room. It's just at the moment I was kind of struggling to make that room. I could probably lower the maybe the Magnamon X, because I think we can kind of lean more into just the Magnamon level 4s, just keep it kind of low ground, and then just kind of increase the Davis, because Davis is a very staple card in this whole deck. You know, it adds a lot of value. It really makes the deck a little bit more playable than what it had been previously. But BT16 is where it's going to be popping off realistically. We all know. This deck is in the waiting room, but right now I can't wait no longer. Magnamon is one of my favorite Digimon, so we got to cook with it. We got to cook with what Bandai's given us, and you know, I'm a goddamn chef. I like cooking. But guys, that is your boy done. Magnamon Tribal baby is out to play. Really happy with what they're doing with this deck, and Armors is only going to get stronger. It's going to be an absolute menace next format. There's so much source that you can do with this deck. It's crazy. It's crazy. This archetype is actually fleshing out, and by Jove it needs to, because everyone laughed at Armors, but now BT16 coming, new boss monster. Yeah, boy, we eating well. So if you enjoyed the video, smash the bell like a standard. Stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you in the next one. That's your boy, DigiDread, off the mic.